Hello everyone. Well, I thought I'd give you a quick update on my Dyson V11. Well, I say mine. By the time you see this, it will have been returned to Dyson. I didn't think I was going to keep this machine, although I have liked it. It does a very good job. I almost thought of keeping it, despite the fact, as some of you might remember, I wasn't very keen on this awful garish wand. I should have chosen the regular blue one, but I thought it was exclusive to Dyson at the time. I thought I'd get the exclusive model. So here is the high torque head. Now it's broken, and in fact it broke within 2 weeks basically of me getting this machine. I've not done anything silly with this cleaner. It's been used as my regular day-to-day vacuum. The most you've seen it pick up is the initial demonstration. Apart from that, it's just been used around my home normally without putting any extra dirt down. I like to keep things clean, and when I got this, I put some of Vuplex plastic polish on the inside of this. Now, Vuplex is a plastic protector that is also an anti-static. It also is supposed to protect plastics, so it'll be interesting to see if this, I mean, it's still, as you can see, it's still quite clear, but I think that's possibly because I put a couple of layers of the Vuplex on. I don't know, but I'm going to open this up and give it another wipe and a polish with Vuplex and see if I can get this to look brand new. If I can, I think the Vuplex has done a good job. Anyway, I'm going to take the roller out and I'll show you what's broken. Now, what I'm going to do is something that everyone can do. It's in the instruction book. In order to give the roller a better clean, or if you want to access the nozzle to clear a blockage, you can take the brush roll out. And you can do that using a coin or something flat anyway, and just turn this to the unlocked position and then pull it out. Now, it might have a few bits in it because I have just picked up a little bit of a demo dirt. Now, right, so this part looks fine, doesn't it? And although, you know, I've only had it a few weeks, the carbon fibre brushes are still pretty good. Now, I've hardly used the fluffy head. In fact, I've only used it about once or twice since I unboxed this, because this particular head, the high torque head, on my hard floors has been fine. It works pretty well, so there was no point in changing over the heads, especially with a cordless cleaner. To me, a cordless cleaner scores well on convenience, but not so well on performance. Although, saying that, this does a sterling job, I'm not going to deny it. But the fact that it's broken and broke within 2 weeks of me owning it doesn't bode well for the future. This fits fine. Now, what broke on here, and I think it's starting to rattle a bit. Doesn't look, well, it does look slightly, it's actually got worse. Now, can we quite see in there, look? On the end of this, now this is the motor, this contains the motor that drives the brush roll. But on the end of this, there is some sort of a rubber washer. And can you see, I did post a picture of this on my Instagram and Facebook when I first noticed this, when I first took out the brush roll. That is broken. Now, this is a £600 vacuum cleaner, if you didn't know. And for a part to break on it within 2 weeks is not good. And as I said, I've not abused it. Now, let's just check the other side. There's nothing broken here. It just happens to be, for some reason, on mine, this little rubber seal or grommet, whatever it's for, it's obviously got a purpose, that broke. Part of it has broken off. I don't know what I've done with it. Oh, it's here. I just took that off. It completely broke off. So I think it's starting to sound a bit rattly. And it's probably due to that. So what I would do, I would suggest to you, if you've got a Dyson V11, carefully take the brush roll out. And it also, when you've got the brush roll out, you can also just give it a wipe and a clean if you want to. This is supposed to be removed by the user. I haven't done anything that the instructions don't state you can do. Take your roller out and just see if any part's broken, you can give it a clean. You might find after a while of using the machine, a bit of fluff has gathered around this part here. But just check around here, see if that's still intact and in one piece and rotating freely, and check that your seal on the other end is intact. Because if it's happened to mine, it's probably going to happen to other people's. I'm just going to tap that, get rid of some of the dirt. Just having a closer look. It seems to have held up fairly well, apart from that, which obviously this head gets used all the time for my carpets and floors. There's nothing wrong with those brushes though. And let's just pull this part out. That seems fine. I think that is there's a little seal inside the end cap there. That looks okay. Little bit of dust inside that, which, you know, you expect that. There's a bearing there. That seems fine. But yes, it's okay, that part. It's just, for some reason, on mine, that it's just shredded itself. And I say I've not abused this because I thought I'd be returning it. I didn't want Dyson to have an excuse to say you can't have your money back because you've not used it according to the instructions. I followed the instructions, kept well below the max fill line, and just used it as a regular consumer would use their vacuum. Okay, I'm just going to see if the Vuplex has worked. You can see it looks a little bit dirty, but considering the use it's had, it's not bad. I'm going to give it a wipe and a polish with the Vuplex plastic polish that I use on many vacuums, and just see if I can restore that to looking brand new again. This is the stuff I use. I found out about this quite a while ago now and bought it to polish up my other vacuum cleaners. But I do also use this on the inside of the bins in a bagless cleaner, and also any see-through part of any vacuum cleaner. And obviously on the Dyson high torque head we have this see-through part. And Dyson vacuums and other vacuums with a see-through element, they look fine when they're brand new, but it doesn't take long for them to start looking, well, rather tatty. So I'm going to spray the Vuplex polish onto the cloth, as I don't know if you saw it, as a huge spider walks away. I don't know where that's appeared from. Now, because of the large shaft here that contains the motor, it is a little tricky to get your cloth around to clean everywhere, but it is possible. So I'm just going to give this a wipe as much as I can. And if you do this, just take care, don't force anything. But I'm not doing anything here that you're not supposed to do, because after, you know, a few months use, you might find your cleaner will benefit from a little bit of a clean up. You've spent £600. If you've bought one of these, you've spent £600 or whatever the equivalent is in your country. You want to look after your purchase, which is what I have done. When I've had this machine, I've looked after it. That seems to have done quite a good job. I haven't got time to go into too much detail with this, but I think that really is a bit of fluff there that I need to get out somehow. It has survived pretty well. Let's give it a quick squirt on the outside. So this is going back, folks, as my regular viewers might realise. I really cannot justify, at the moment, £600. I'm not going to say I'll never buy another one. When these become more widely available, it's a particular retailer that I shop at that I can get discount from. So I will be able to get another one of these at a lower price than I initially paid for this one. It will still be well over £500 though. I do have a V10, so I'll be showing you a bit more of that in future videos. So, you know, I don't really need this. This part here, this rubber seal, this has been fine on my floors. it can get grubby. So keep that clean. Again, I used Vuplex on that, and I think because the Vuplex is an anti-static polish and a cleaner, I think it's kept this sort of, I don't know what it is, some sort of a rubbery seal at the back. It's kept it cleaner than possibly it would have been had I not put a couple of coats of the Vuplex on. But the Vuplex can be used to clean it, but because it's an anti-static, it makes it feel a bit smoother. So I've had no problems on any of my carpets or floors using this. So if you want to, you can give the brush a wipe, you know, if it's got dirty. So I'll just pop that back in. So it's almost as good as new. So just line up that. I might be able to do it. Now I'll just tighten it with this. There we go. Whoops. So yes, it's not 100% perfect, but I think it's not too bad. It's already getting dust on it now. If I plug it in to the cleaner, just check it's running okay. Now that doesn't sound as rattly as it does when I'm using it on the carpet. But that does sound better than it has been sounding. So probably just the act of taking out the brush roll and giving it a bit of a clean has helped it. It's already starting to get dusty after that small bit of use. So yes, I suggest if you've got a V11, just have a look at your brush roll. Just remove the end cap here using a large coin or a key or whatever. Slide it out and have a look at those areas I pointed out. If it's faulty, I'm sure Dyson will send you another one. In fact, if I was to complain about this, if I wasn't going to send it back anyway, I would have complained to Dyson, and I'm pretty sure they would have sent me out a new part without hesitation. So if you find that yours is broken, contact Dyson, obviously, and I'm sure they will help you, because it shouldn't fail. I mean, it's got a 2-year guarantee, but this happened within a couple of weeks. I noticed that grommet, that rubber grommet inside here had split. So apart from that, everything else seems fine. So here's the cleaner itself. I've just emptied it, but obviously there's dust in the bin. They never empty as clean. If you watch a Dyson video or a Dyson commercial, when they show you the emptying, it empties absolutely spotlessly, doesn't it? You have a look. You never see any dust remaining, but in reality, dust will remain on the inside until you remove the bin and give it a good clean. I'll have a look at the filter. I've not washed the filter. It's not been touched. To be honest and to be fair, that is pretty good. It's 2 filters in one. You can see the pleated part is the outer, that's the exhaust filter. And I think you can just be about to see, that's the inside of it. So that is pretty clean still. And the outside, this is where the air exhausts, obviously, from the machine. They still look absolutely spotless. This, obviously, there is some dirt. As I said, I've not washed this. I think I have vacuumed it once. I haven't really been paying much attention to the filter. So that's pretty good. But I've used this normally. I've not put loads and loads of dirt down. So that's, I expect, how your filter will probably look after about 3 or 4 weeks of use. Looking inside, it's hard to tell here, but it does look pretty clean still. And as I said, I've not touched this. So the filtration seems pretty good. So here's the bin, looking dusty, but it doesn't look too cloudy at the moment. I'm going to take the bin off fully and give it a bit of a polish, and we'll see how well the Vuplex has protected the bin, because when this was brand new, before I even used it for the first time, I did use the Vuplex and gave it a couple of layers of protection on the inside of the bin. So to take the bin off, if you want to give it a more thorough clean, of course you first have to use the lever as if you're emptying the bin. So push the lever down, which exposes, of course, the shroud. The shroud does keep itself clean when you empty. I've had no problems. There's a bit of dust on it, but dog hairs, any threads and fibres, they do get ejected when you empty this, so that's good. So when you've got the cleaner open, there is a little tab here that you need to press, and then you can take the bin out completely. And now, if you want to, using a dry cloth, you can give this area a bit of a wipe. Now pay particular attention. Now what I would advise with this, get some either baby wipes or some surface wipes. They're the best thing I've found to use, and make sure you clean the seals, because if grit and other bits and bobs can get underneath here, it can reduce the efficiency of the machine. So as you can see, this has got a sort of a rubber skirt around it. So just for the video, I'm just going to wipe it with a dry cloth, but normally if I wanted to clean that better, I would use, I'd say, you know, a wet wipe, a surface wipe. Make sure, of course, before you reassemble it, that everything is bone dry. But by using a wet wipe, they're just a damp cloth basically. So things dry within a couple of minutes anyway. So, but just make sure it is dry before reassembly. So wipe around the shroud, wipe around this bit, wipe around this seal. With the bin, again, use a wet wipe or just a dry cloth, and you can give it a bit of a clean. And again, there are seals on the inside of this bin. Now, even despite the Vuplex, I can see there has been some clouding. Can you see that? It's not quite as clear as it was when it was new. You can see where it's clouded a bit here. So the Vuplex hasn't really saved this from getting scratched. Again, there's more seals on the bin down the bottom here. Again, wet wipe is the best thing to use. And there's also a seal all around the flap. So as I said, if any grit particles or any bits get caught in that, the bin won't close and seal properly. So pay particular attention to the seals. And of course, this little red seal here that helps to wipe the shroud clean when you empty it, give that a wipe as well. So I'm just going to spray in my Vuplex on the inside of the bin, because it might polish up a little bit better, because it can disguise some scratches. Now, I'm not endorsed by Vuplex, I'm not selling you this, I'm just showing you what I use. There are plenty of other plastic polishes available, I'm sure, and you might prefer a different brand, but whatever you find works, use that. So I'm just giving this a bit of a clean. Obviously, if I was doing this myself, I'm going to clean this up a little bit better before I post it back to Dyson, because they're going to get it in as clean a condition as I can send it to them. I'm not going to send it full of muck. But as you can see, this is what you can do with your Dyson if you just want to, once a month, if you want to do this. That hasn't done too bad. As I said, this has only been used about 4 weeks or so, but now it's had a bit more of a polish, but I can still see a definite difference. I'm not sure if it picks up on camera. Can you see there? The lower part here of the bin is still fairly clear. It's the upper part where you get more of the spinning action of the cyclone spinning the dirt around, that's what causes the scratches. But that hasn't fared too badly at all. So you can do that with your Dyson. Give it a wipe, pay attention to the seals, and then you can reassemble it. Now with the lever at the back of the cleaner, let's see if I can do it. You see there's a channel here. You just need to make sure that this, whoops, try not to squeeze the trigger as well when it's not got the bin on. This plastic piece here fits into this channel at the back. So if I can show you, just slot it down. Is that it? There we go, it's clicked into position. So it's in the open position now, so now I can just close it. And there you go. That's fine, so that should work there. So that's how you clean the bin if you want to. So that's basically the maintenance that I can show you on this machine before it goes back. Obviously, wash the filter. If you don't want to be without your filter, because this can take quite a while to dry, up to 24 hours, you can use another vacuum cleaner. I do it many times with other bagless cleaners that require filter washing. Because I've got several other vacuum cleaners, I've got one to hand, and possibly this won't be your only vacuum. You might have another vacuum as well. So if you've got a cylinder vacuum or an upright with a hose, it won't do it any harm to just vacuum around it if you want to use it. If you think there's a noticeable drop in performance, or of course the light comes on, the display will tell you when the filter needs cleaning. It will be better if you give it a thorough wash, but if you think you're going to need the cleaner quite soon, then in the interim you can use another machine. And again, there's seals in here which always will benefit from a bit of a wipe. Seal at the bottom and a seal just around here. But I'm not going to wash this before sending it back to Dyson. I might vacuum it and wipe it, but that's all I'm going to do. So on the whole, the main thing, of course, about this is the price. It's £600. The fact that my torque head has got a broken part in it after a couple of weeks, I'm not very happy about that. As I said, Dyson would, I'm sure, have sent me a new one if I'd asked for it. Whether I would have got one with the gold insert or a regular silver one, the standard model, it doesn't have the gold agitator body. I wouldn't have been happy if they hadn't sent me one to match, despite the fact I'm not keen on the gold. But, you know, that's just my personal preference. Some of you do like the gold colour and commented under my original video, but it was just the fact that this particular tube does not match, doesn't look anything like it did on Dyson's website. So that's going to be it for the time being. That's the end of the story on my channel of the Dyson V11 until I possibly get another one. So you might see another Dyson V11 on this channel, but it probably will be the standard version with the silver cyclone and the blue wand, because apart from the color, there's no difference between the models. There are two different V11s you can get. Now this is the Absolute, I think they call it. This is the only one at the time of making the video that comes with a high torque head. I would recommend the high torque head over the regular head that you get with a standard V11. This is, despite the fact it broke, is a very good head, I think. It does an exceptional job. I've never really had to use boost, just very occasionally I've pressed the boost button, but more or less I've used this on automatic all the time. I probably would have got away with, if I just was doing a daily clean on the eco setting, I probably would have had clean looking carpets and maybe once a week just gone over on automatic, which will give me a bit more suction power. But it's a considered purchase. I would still recommend it, despite the fact it is bulky, it's quite heavy, especially in handheld mode. It is a little bit awkward. Go and get yourself the optional extension hose. You can either get the Dyson one, or if you go on Amazon, you can get a longer extension hose that fits this for around £10 to £15. I'll put a link below this video to the one I bought for my V10, because it fits the V10 as well as the V11. If you've got a V10, all V10 tools should fit the V11. As far as I know, I've tried it with my V10 and they do fit. Even the torque head does fit a V10, but whether or not you're supposed to use it, Dyson will probably say you're not to use this torque head on your V10, but I have and it's fine. But you know, whether that will invalidate the warranty on a V10, I don't know. So I could possibly buy one of these as a spare and use it on a V10. It is possible. Anyway, that's the end of this video. If you have any comments or questions on the Dyson V11, please comment below, and also comment if after checking your high torque head you found a similar problem to mine. You might find something cracked inside or the rubber grommet disintegrated. I'd be very interested to know if that's happened to you and how it was resolved. But as I said, I'm sure if I was keeping this, Dyson would have sent me out a new part. They are pretty good customer service wise. I would have got a new part for this. But for me, for the time, I don't really want to spend £600 on this. I've used it. It's a very good cordless cleaner. One of the best cordless cleaners I think you can buy. But it should be at £600. Thanks for watching. Lots more videos coming up. Check my playlists if you want to be entertained by a load of vacuum cleaners and carpet washers. I have well over 1,000 videos on my channel for your perusal. So until the next video, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.